We started working a number of years ago, just to give everyone some context on this project. It became evident that we needed another guided learning, another kind of online learning tool, because the one that we have today was going away. So we had seen this technology from Oracle, which really took kind of this guided training to the next level, and spent some time working with this Oracle University is the one that does this, and it's a cloud-based solution, and started talking and working with them and our partner SpearMC, Marcus and Cameron, and they jumped in, made a lot of commitments around, even though there was no market there and there's only one customer that ever implemented this, around really taking the lead on this project. So I'm really happy to have Marcus and Cameron join us today and to give us an update on how things are going for both them and this product out with our customers. So Marcus and Cameron, welcome.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Paco.
Sure. And I'll just change the slide. You tell me when you want to go to the next slide. I'll hit next.
Yep, that sounds good. And Cameron, you can hear me as well, right?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Why don't I just go ahead and get started? So, hey everybody, we're thrilled to be here. My name is Marcus Bodie. I'm the president and the founder of SpearMC. I started the company in San Francisco in 2004. Happy to say that next year is 20 years, woohoo, for SpearMC. That's pretty exciting. Just a little bit about Spear, really big news. Again, for the third year in a row, we're recognized by Gartner as the only PeopleSoft vendor on their market guide for Oracle professional services. That's always a huge accomplishment that we really feel good about, and working with Gartner, that's great industry recognition. And then the SOC 2, the certification, that's all about your governance, your controls, protecting data, the deep commitment to customer security. We all know why that's important. And we just passed our annual audit, and I'm I am a CPA, not practicing anymore, and so that's always a big deal to me. Anyways, nice to meet everyone today. We've got some great content for you. Cameron, I'm going to hand it off.
All right, thanks, Marcus. Yeah, we're really just really pleased to be with you today and share a little bit about our story, about kind of why, kind of unpacking a little bit about what Paco was talking about in terms of approaching us about taking Oracle guided learning out to the masses. And so we're really excited to share that a bit with you today. I will just share one brief sort of background on myself. I came to SpearMC 5 years ago, actually almost 6 years ago now. Prior to that, I was running support and training, and as an employee at multiple organizations I was kind of on the client side, right, the customer side, doing PeopleSoft support, been doing PeopleSoft for a very long time. That has given me a unique sort of perspective on what a tool like Oracle Guided Learning and a guided processing tool within PeopleSoft can do with respect to support. It was approached really to me like, hey, there's this new learning tool to UPK replacement. And I looked at it and I said, oh, no. This is a support tool. This will be huge. And so I was able to take that perspective into everything we're doing now. And we're really excited with some of the results. I want to share some of that with you today. So let's go to the next slide. I'm not driving, so I don't know if
I'll do it.
Driving. Okay, no problem. So we just got back from the Higher Education User Group conference in Australia. And we were obviously, everybody's like, oh, you got to go to Australia. It's a long flight, but we invested because we said, you know what, we've got a story to tell, specifically around Oracle Guided Learning and what we're doing for PeopleSoft customers in North America. And so we took that story on the road down to Australia. You can see on the right side, this is the first ever workshop that we created on the fly for a room full of people to come and say, build an Oracle Guided Learning guide in PeopleSoft. I thought I had 7 signups going into the workshop, and you can see how many people showed up. Luckily, I was prepared. I knew how to do it, and we got everybody into our PeopleSoft environment powered by OCI. Using our OGL environment that was created, and we maintain it now with the support of the Oracle University team, as well as probably many of you on this call that support that integration. We were able to get all these people set up on the fly, building a guide within an hour and a half. They all had working guides, helping people understand how to set up their own notifications in PeopleSoft. In other words, a user can go in with their guide that they built within an hour and understand how to update their own notifications. People were blown away with how easy it was to build Oracle Guide Learning guides in PeopleSoft and help people. And just with that, and really Oracle Guide Learning is a thing that needs to be seen. You can't really talk about it. Fortunately, I don't have time to demo it for you today. I hope you get a chance to see it in action. Once you see it, you really understand the power of it. And I think getting in front of these people was really, really powerful. Let's talk a little bit about why, and this is the next slide, why we were selected, essentially. I think if you click maybe one more time, we see ourselves in the middle of this sort of various groups within Oracle. We have always done this. We've always said, you know what, the power that we have is the connections and the relationships that we have, not only within Oracle, but with other strategic partners and other areas. But specifically within Oracle, we see ourselves right in the middle of everything that's happening with Apps Unlimited, the technology reps, all of you on the product side, as well as Oracle University. And now, of course, that's been updated to customer success services with the introduction of OU and ACS being joined. We see ourselves right in the middle of all that. We don't have a dedicated sales team. What we have is we have a value that we place on relationships. And so we integrate ourselves with all of you. We have a legacy of training with OU and had a relationship there. We have a keen and in-depth understanding of where you guys are going with the product, and we stay aligned with that. We never take people off that roadmap. And so because of that, Oracle approached us to sort of take this Oracle Guide Learning tool and take it out to the masses. And we've been very excited to do that. So let's talk a little bit about Oracle Guide Learning a little bit more specifically. So if you go, I think 2 slides here, and unfortunately, again, it's not a live demo, but Oracle Guide Learning is an in-application guidance tool. It's not a traditional learning tool in the sense that you're going to have a look-away training, whether in a digital format or an offline format or even UPK. It's actually in your application. That means in production. And that means that any user at any time can request to be guided through something, whether they don't know how to do something, maybe it's an infrequent sort of activity. But we also, with Oracle Guide Learning, can push information to people. We can push them with messaging and say, hey, we see you did this. Can we offer guidance? Maybe that means it's a new user coming in and saying, hey, here's 5 things that you need to do. Let me guide you through updating your preferences and understanding things like process monitor and how to, update an emergency contact or something like that, right? We can present that to people and push that to people. We can also notify people when there's a bug. Maybe the help desk has found that there's a bug, a support issue's come in, and it says, you know what, we found that there's an issue. And instead of the traditional model of communicating out to the entire audience of all your PeopleSoft users, your entire organization, which has a lot of blowback, and I know that from personal experience. Instead of doing that and communicating to the entire audience of potential users, you can essentially put messaging and guidance for the specific users who are about to hit on the issue. And that precise messaging takes it from a broad sort of message that is sort of, can we call it dumb, to a very specific smart messaging precisely on the people who are about to hit on the issue, taking them back to a happy path. That level of precision will increase your general satisfaction around the application. It will also then drive down support issues. That's tremendous. So looking at this and saying, how do we take this out to the masses? We decided, and we really, to be honest, and we met with Paco and Rebecca for, it's quite some time. There was probably about a year where we tried to get this out to people and we were struggling, right? And so we said, how do we really get people to buy and to implement? And so the way we decided to do that was to build pre-built content. It's something that Oracle Guided Learning, the Oracle team is doing in Fusion. They're integrating a bunch of pre-built based content into Fusion, but that didn't exist for PeopleSoft. So we decided, we're going to have to do that. And we have to add value to the licensing process. Yes, we're the the reseller of licensing. So when a customer wants to buy Oracle Guided Learning, it comes to us, and we work with CSS reps now, OU reps previously, to do licensing. We said, you know what, we need to offer value add to that process, as well as the pre-built content. So that's what you can see here. These are things that we do as part of the sale process. When a customer approaches Oracle and says, hey, I'm interested in Oracle Guided Learning, we get it connected, and we offer these specific things as part of the process. We help them with installation. We help them with a proof of concept build of some guides to help them understand the capabilities and how that could be integrated in PeopleSoft. We sort of talk about best practice standards and sort of saying, how do you want this to work for your organization? What kind of standards do we want to put in there? We do a full-on day-long workshop where we train all of the users that want to and understand how to build or guided learning guides. And then we come back with an annual assessment. Our approach here is really to invest and empower our customers to understand Oracle Guided Learning, to really maximize the value they get out of the tool, out of the investment in Oracle, not a strategy where they say, hey, they have to continue to come back to us as the partner. That's not a good model. We don't like that model. Our model with our legacy of training is to really empower our customers and your customers to understand the application and to continue to stay on the roadmap and to continue to get value out of the application. That's our strategy. It aligns really well with how we approach Oracle Guided Learning. And so that's what we do with our licensing. In addition to that, of course, then we've got this concept of the pre-built content. We have 200 guides that we deliver in each pillar. It's focused on essentially both broad-based tools or broad-based processes, I should say, like employee self-service, manager self-service, things that would be common to, let's say, approvers and financials, or a student or faculty and campus solutions. So sort of broad-based, casual type of transactions, things that people don't generally memorize how to do. But we also have core business processes in there as well. So we help people understand how to do a transaction in accounts payable, or how do I onboard an employee, that type of thing as well. In addition to that, of course, we have things that you would never traditionally train on, things like enterprise components, people tools, things that are often missed when people say, hey, I want to be trained on PeopleSoft. People think about the modules, but they miss some of these great tools that you guys are all delivering to this community with enterprise components and that sort of thing. So we're pulling that in too, and helping them understand how to use things like Page and Field Configurator and things like that are really great tools, but people sometimes don't really know how to use them. So we can help them with a guided process. Say, how do I set up a Page and Field Configurator setting on a specific page? We help them with that with a guided process. So all those guides are designed to be introduced into their tenancy. It works out of the box. Of course, it's tailored to them. They can change the language, all of that. So this message is resonating. You can see here on the left side a list of customers. Paco mentioned we had one customer. Now we've got this list of customers. I will say that the uptake is slower than I'd like. I think we'd all like it to be much faster, but clearly it's coming. And you can see the pipeline on the right. The 5 in yellow are simply the ones I'm doing demos this week, okay? We've got a lot of demos that I do constantly. I'm constantly doing demos of this tool. I'm passionate about it. I love to talk about it, and people are wanting to get it. The question is, how do they buy it? Remember, this is a new thing. They don't have a line item in their budget to say, hey, let's replace the existing digital adoption platform with the new digital adoption platform. This is a new line item in their budget, and that takes time. We're also selling to a customer base that's used to legacy licensed software, licensed and maintained software, and we're sort of transitioning them to the idea of SaaS, which is we're not transitioning them away from PeopleSoft into Fusion, but we're introducing a SaaS product, which is OGL, into their PeopleSoft mix. That takes a little bit of time too, but we're very pleased with the existing customers that have already bought and implemented, as well as then the pipeline that's coming. I think we go to the next slide. So want to focus just really quickly on one customer. So State of North Dakota, they went live earlier this year. They went live using our starter kit and introduced 100 specific guides. Before that, though, they actually used it to support the process of transitioning their People Tools and doing their People Tools upgrade. So in April, they went live with a People Tools upgrade. They specifically used OGL to support that with simply using pop-up messages, smart tips, beacons, things to kind of show them that things are a little bit different, but there was no process guides at the time. They were kind of getting their feet wet with OGL. They expanded that into a set of process guides that are now live, that help do all sorts of different kinds of things across the financials and HCM footprint. They're also introducing it into things like Portal and ELM as well. So lots of really great things they're doing. You can see here on the right side, these are some analytics that are baked into the OGL tool that they can use to sort of see the uptake of how people are using these guides, when they use them, what are the most popular ones, what's the feedback, and how can they address future changes. So this is just one case study. I could have done a case study, any of those customers on the left side there on the previous slide. State of North Dakota is a good one and a well-known customer for probably many of you. It just to expand and go to the next slide, just expanding a little bit. State of North Dakota in general, sort of beyond OGL, they're a great customer. They've got a lot of sort of all the, most of the pillars, of course, except for Campus Solutions, although they are connected with the university system in North Dakota, and of course they use Campus Solutions. But I think what I'd highlight with these guys is they're a really typical PeopleSoft customer in the sense of, 8,500 employees, public sector, some complexities around business process that requires them to leverage the adaptability and configurability of PeopleSoft. They've been great at sort of incrementally taking on new things. You can see some of the implementations down below. None of these are massive. None of them are big modules that are gnarly and take them multiple years to implement. They're just a steady stream of new features that they're uptaking. I think that's a great story, and it's certainly one that you guys promote as well. So I think that's a great sort of story to talk about with state of North Dakota. And Marcus, if you want to just mention sort of kind of expanding now broadly on just generally state of PeopleSoft.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Cameron. And that was a great overview and a lot more in depth. So really appreciate it. Nice work on that. So I'm here to talk about the state of PeopleSoft, and we were asked to give some color commentary as a firm, as an SI that's 100% dedicated to PeopleSoft. I know that many of you in the audience, aren't out there in the marketplace. Oftentimes, not necessarily speaking to customers, and I think it's important that you hear it from an SI that is living and breathing PeopleSoft. And look, I mean, I've been working with PeopleSoft since 1994. It's all I've ever done, and I think it's all I'm ever going to do. So, and it's what we've built. SpearMC around. So let me start with 5 points, and I actually built this list on the flight back from Australia. I did edit it a few times since I had to laugh at a few of the things I initially put in there, but let's talk about the first thing. And I think this is something that we all know, but we need to reinforce it, and we need to tell it to ourselves every day, because there's so much conflicting messaging from those that either aren't in the know or that have ulterior motives. PeopleSoft has an incredible amount of product stickiness and maturity. Okay. It's a superior product. It has a loyal following, right? Much like JDE, and it's evolved into a product that's stable, it's robust, it's mature, and it remains, very deeply ingrained at many organizations. Okay, and many of us already know it, right? But it's so important that when we speak to customers and speak to prospects and speak to those in the ecosystem, that we remind each other of that fact, because it's absolutely the truth. And it's very easy to speak the truth. Next topic is the PeopleSoft market, the services market right now. It's extremely robust, and the market conditions, the levels of demand for be it functional consulting, net new modules, enhancements to modules, new development, administration, specific, a lot on PeopleSoft training, a lot on managed services. So everything a typical SI really does they're staying consistent. And it's one of the reasons that we as a firm have decided to stick 100% with PeopleSoft. And I'll get to that in a minute on point number 4. Something I did want to point out, and it's very important to those that are involved in working on new features, new functionality. When that gets released, either through a conference or through a webinar or through any type of messaging that you guys do, specifically around people tools, reporting, any type of tool that allows an organization to drop customizations and to move more to configurations, there's always a noticeable uptick in training requests. So just one of the things I always note, and I'm always looking to see what's coming down the pipeline, because the minute I see something new or enhanced, we immediately start to work on our training content, because we know 100% there's going to be an uptick. Next, point number 3, Oracle PeopleSoft messaging. And let me start with the last thing here. I think one of the things you guys do, and you guys, Paco's organization, this organization, you listen to your customer. There are tools in place, be it the idea space and any number of other ways for customers to communicate back to your organization, and you listen to the customer and you give them what they're asking for. And I can't tell you that I mean, it's one of the things at SpearMC that I'm always trying to communicate that to our firm, right? Which is primarily consultants, which always, they spend a lot of time thinking about all these other things that they want to do. And we're just like, look, just listen to the customer, give them what they're asking for. I think you guys do a great job of that. And, the messaging that we feel from the organization, again, right? Lots of feature innovations, reduced cost of ownership, stable product, and that really hits home with a lot of organizations. Okay, let's talk about SpearMC a little bit. Firm branding. So I mentioned this before. 5 years ago, we doubled down on PeopleSoft. Before that, we were kind of dabbling in a bunch of different things, right? Cloud EPM, host analytics. Before that, some Microsoft 365. And at some point, we just said, you know what, stop. We're going to stop everything else. We're just going to focus on PeopleSoft. That was what we did about 5 years ago. Again, I do want to say our revenues, gross top line revenues, are up 300% from 2019, 2020 to what we're looking at ending 2023. So that's humongous, and I'm really proud of not only SpearMC and the employees here, but just working with your organization and the other organizations that Cameron had mentioned before on the slide with the bubbles. In every marketing message, everything that we say, we always start with, we double down on PeopleSoft. It's so important for customers and prospects to hear that, because if they don't believe in that as a competitive advantage, then they should probably be looking for other firms. So, and I think it positions us very well as PeopleSoft experts versus those Oracle partners that restructured and bifurcated to pursue other applications, be it SaaS or Workday, whatever. The last thing, and I think we covered this on an earlier slide, we actively engage, and we always have since the very beginning, PeopleSoft product strategy team, Apps Unlimited, Oracle University, which is now part of the CSS team, and the OCI team, which are the tech reps. We go out of our way to always ensure that our interests are aligned with those respective Oracle teams. So a little bit about a state of PeopleSoft from CEO's viewpoint that runs a firm within the PeopleSoft ecosystem. So that's all I have, Paco. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks you guys, and we appreciate the confidence and trust that you guys have shown in us, and getting into the market with OGL and everything else. So I get a lot of calls about which partner should I work with, and you guys are definitely up there at the top of the list. So thanks for taking the time out and walking us through that.